As you know, President Trump is on trial surrounding his handling of classified information. Even though as president, he had the sole authority to declassify anything except for nuclear codes or undercover operatives. Because President Trump tried to explain this to his buffoonish and thoroughly corrupt accusers, he was then accused of obstruction. Contrast this with Joe Biden, who has been stealing classified information since 1974 and who will pay no price for his admitted crimes. Unequal justice is un-American. That's our focus in today's preamble. President Trump has weighed in on revelations that Joe Biden won't be prosecuted for illegally taking and storing classified information for nearly 50 years. In a post on Truth Social, Trump wrote, "Wow, fake news. CNN, through a leak from the Department of Justice, has just reported that no charges will be filed in the much bigger than mine crooked Joe Biden documents case. We are living in a very corrupt country," end quote. Corruption, yes, but it's not our country, Mr. President. It's our government. A government that is no longer a servant of we the people. Rather, it's a government populated with selfish, entitled, spoiled little totalitarians who have apparently grown tired of the American tradition of a government serving our people. The current government is creating an America where our people serve those in positions of power and authority. Now, if that sounds familiar, it should. It describes the most brutal, inhuman, and unworthy governments that have ever plagued mankind. In my view, Joe Biden's guilt is not in question. Joe Biden and his team have admitted that when Joe Biden was a senator and a vice president, he illegally took classified information and stored it at his home, next to his Corvette, and into an office building bought and paid for by Communist China. According to our laws, Joe Biden was never entitled to remove any of the classified information as a senator or a vice president and bring it home. But because Joe Biden is a Democrat who has opened our borders, who has made deals advantaging America's enemies and disadvantaging our own people, because he's made moves to put government in control of information over the internet and social media, because he's seeking to aid in the enslavement of our people to our government, Mr. Biden will get the James Comey-Hillary Clinton treatment.
Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case.
Hillary Clinton's offenses, though not as extensive as Joe Biden's, were nonetheless very serious. She built and implemented a homebrew email server to hide her actions from the prying eyes of our people. The server was unauthorized. It was illegal. And subsequent revelations show that it was hacked by 5 foreign powers, some friends and some enemies of the United States. And as you heard from the disgraced former FBI Director James Comey, there were clear signs that Hillary Clinton broke the law. But because she was a well-connected Democrat, not working in the interest of advancing American freedom and prosperity, she got off scot-free. If it weren't for the actions of one judge, Hunter Biden would have escaped culpability for what he's done. In a 5-year investigation that should have only taken 1 year, David Weiss, a Joe Biden fanboy, tried to give Hunter a sweetheart plea deal where he never had to admit guilt and where he was given blanket immunity, something that has never been done in such a case. Mr. Weiss is back in the game, this time as special counsel, making sure this time Hunter gets away with everything, and that under no circumstances Hunter's activities can be traced back to the big guy. Now, just in case any of you pro-Americans out there get it into your little heads that you can do what Joe, Hunter, and Hillary did and expect the same Comey, Robert Hur, David Weiss treatment, think again. James Comey laid down the double standard when he let Hillary off.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences. To the contrary, those individuals are often subject to security or administrative sanctions, but that's not what we're deciding now.
Many of you are likely rolling your eyes, maybe shouting at the TV and wondering, whatever happened to the equal application of justice in America? I think we can find the answer in recent events from this year. The founders set up our system of government checks and balances so that our government would be at odds with itself, leaving our people mostly unmolested. But over the last few decades, our government has figured out that if they work together, they can break the rules with impunity. Case in point, the Democrats and the Republicans. Now, we're told that these parties disagree, that they have differing values and different ideas on how to protect America. So when Democrats pass policies that lead to massive inflation, rampant, uncontrolled illegal immigration, massive crime, unsustainable deficit spending, and when their luminaries break the law, Americans should expect the opposition party to move heaven and earth to check those abuses. And you'd expect the Democrats to do the same if the GOP ever went off the rails in a similar manner. But the GOP has done nothing to stand in the way of Democrats' abuse of our people. In fact, 18 Republicans stabbed the nation and their own voters in the back to unnecessarily vote for a $1.8 trillion omnibus to fund the Democrats' anti-American agenda. Then 8 other Republicans in the House this time joined with all socialists to protect the architect of the massive illegal immigration wave, Alejandro Mayorkas, a man who has facilitated the single largest national security threat to our people. 8 million, mostly unvetted, mostly military-age illegal alien men allowed to break into our country. Then, as they have all year, the GOP just reaffirmed their support for the Democrats by funding all of the Democrats' lawlessness by proposing and passing another so-called clean continuing resolution, which is, in all actuality, the dirtiest of all documents, as it funds the very unequal application of justice that I've been outlining. Don't get me started on the Democrats' support for America's enemies in Iran, Mother Russia, and China. In its current state of rebellion against the Constitution, our government is no longer a government of, by, and for the people. Thus, this government no longer deserves our support, our trust, or our loyalty, unless and until it reverts back to the limits placed on it by the aforementioned Constitution.